Alrighty, so good morning again. Jammies unwashed. But what I'm doing this morning, sorry, let me mention a few things. I've been making the mistake of planning to start things, planning to start projects, go for a walk, do all these healthy, helpful things first thing in the morning. And instead what I've been doing is sitting in front of the computer for up to 9, 10, 12 hours a day doing online work. And it's all online work that needs to be done to help myself, to keep pushing myself and getting more eyes seeing my work. And I mention all this stuff in the I, me, mine. I want to remind you again that I put everything in an I, me, mine context, so that hopefully I can help you see how you could be helping yourself. All I can speak from is my experience and what I do for the most part. But it's also so you can, maybe you're questioning yourself, like what could I be doing? What could I, how could I be doing something similar? Anyway, if you get it, great. If you don't, it's okay too. But I wanted to mention that, the I, me, mine thing, because it drives me crazy when I'm listening to myself and I'm all I, me, mine, because I don't do that in normal conversation, really. But it's to help you start questioning yourself and to say, well, what am I doing? So with that in mind, I'm out here this morning actually doing work that I think about doing all day long, but when it gets down to it, I've done 8 to 12 hours or so on the computer trying to promote myself, promote my artwork, and then haven't done any actual painting or painting prep. So I'm out here this morning prepping cardboard, because this is a project I've been thinking about. I gessoed 2 pieces of cardboard, a couple of weeks ago, I think, with an idea. Gessoed one side of the boxes that I had laying around. And then this morning I said, well, what if I did a set of 4 paintings on cardboard? Because paintings don't have to be done just on canvas. And I love the idea of doing fine art projects on other materials, like cardboard. It's not terribly original, but I want to see how I can push the boundaries on materials and producing, quote unquote, fine art. So I'm going to start prepping these. I've got 2 canvases behind me I have to prep this morning. And then I'll shower before I sit down at the computer and spend another day on my bottom, on my fat ass. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to be painting yet. I don't have that intent or context yet. But I think I was originally thinking, abstracts, but I think it's possibly too easy. I don't think it would be challenging enough for the viewer or for me. And I love the challenge. I love the juxtapose of, my way of painting, my fine art portraits on cardboard. I love the idea of it. But we'll see what happens. A set of 4 something or others on cardboard would be super fun. As you can see, I was working on wheat paste on one side of this one. Look at how it's bent. I think it's just beautiful. I love the textures. I love the waffle textures on this. So we'll see what kind of craziness I come up with. Whether it's just a stupid idea or a good idea, we'll see. And then there was something else I wanted to mention too. Instead of turning on turning on YouTube or Netflix or something else that I have had a habit of doing for a while. A friend of mine started a radio station. My favorite DJ from, God, almost, it sounds bizarre to say, but almost 30 years ago, actually 30 years ago. All right, let me start at the beginning. 30 years ago, I had a DJ on Cape Cod that I absolutely adored. Absolutely adored. And they turned on music for me in an ethereal way. Like, I can feel it to my core because of this one DJ. And this was when DJing was actually DJing. It wasn't fancy tricks, it wasn't, having a computer lay out your playlist. This was chosen music. They worked on a college radio station on Cape Cod called WKKL, where I ended up being on the air for 2 or 3 years, I'm not sure. But this one DJ just set something off in my brain. And so they went off the air 28 years ago, I think. They left, they got jobs in Boston, or on Cape Cod and then Boston on the air. But, that was all pre-programmed playlists. It was just boring. It didn't have that ethereal feel to it. And then they went on to be a traffic reporter on WBZ Radio out of Boston. But my friend, that DJ, just started their own radio station. It's called Bumble Bee Radio. Bumble Bee Radio, as in bzz, bzz, bzz. And I am so thrilled because 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I can now listen to Kristen Eck. Kristen Eck, E-C-K, on their own radio station. And then Kristen is also partnered with another Boston DJ legend. And Kristen is a legend, by the way, in the radio world. Look her up. You can actually Google her. But she partnered up with another DJ who was on one of the greatest stations in the United States for years, WBCN, and they've put a show called Boston Emissions back on the air. She's on, Annabelle is on, I think it's Annabelle, oh shoot, I know her name and I forgot her name. Anyway, the show Boston Emissions is on Mondays on Bumble Bee Radio for a couple of hours. They feature New England and Boston artists. And I gotta tell you, about having Bumblebee in my life has really excited me, or back in my life. Having Kristen Eck back in my life has excited me to the point where I can do this. In fact, I had it on before I started gessoing. I was about to look at videos. I was about to screw around. In my head, I was like, well, why don't we do this first? Why don't we do this on the computer first before we go out there? But I knew if I started watching, I would find excuses to not get up again. And my fat ass has got to get up and get moving, because I'm wasting time. When I'm not pushing my work online, I'm wasting time. So I put on Kristen Eck and Bumble Bee Radio, and I'm just so happy to have their company again and hear their music and their wit. Kristen is live on Friday mornings, and the rest of the time it's a kind of a loop, but it's a mixed loop of music and sound, and it's just, I gotta tell you, it is just so exciting to me. I feel better than I have in a very, 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 very long time. Just being able to listen to Kristen's choices in music. It's like happy indie punk, a mix of happy indie punk dance music. It sounds like a contradiction in terms, but it's not. Kristen is always very excited about new music. So it's helping me to get excited about my creative ventures. It's helped quite a bit. This was just launched. So it's all new. So I would suggest, if you like playful and happy, without being overly happy, indie punk, dance, electronica, some rap, there's rap in there. Not all with a positive message, but you can dance to it at least. And you want to feel alive and energetic. I would try out Bumble Bee Radio with Kristen Eck. Okay, so that's got the white down. I'm going to go over it with black. I'm going to wash out my brush. Go over it with black. My black swipes, and probably more gray like I did on the other ones. And start the two canvases behind me because I have a commission to do, and I haven't started it yet because I've been in a slump. But now I'm not in a slump anymore. You know those days when you're like, oh, I just don't know. So I'm going to go wash up. I'm going to take a shower. I've got my non-shower hair again. Start prepping these and get some work done. And once again, try out Bumble Bee Radio. Whoop, hi. And also don't forget to, if you like this, if you like the channel, subscribe. And down below are ways that you can help support Studio 120. That's what this is. I'm Beck Lane and this is Studio 120. Down below there are links to Patreon, Cash App, and PayPal. There's also, I should get down here. There. Cash App, Patreon, Cash App, PayPal, and also there's the link to buy gaiters and masks with my work printed on it. Okay? So let's do the jingle. Patreon, hashtag cats, meow, meow, meow. All right, I'll see you again soon. Yep, ciao, ciao. Boink. Ooh, look at this.